Good afternoon. Welcome to another exciting session by Business Station. My name is Rhonwyn and I am a digital advisor at the Digital Solutions Program through Business Station. Federally funded by the Australian Government, you can enjoy, for the price of $44, 7 hours of tailored delivery through one-to-one advisory and workshops. So if you are seeing today's webinar, either via recording or live, or you saw it on Eventbrite, please keep in mind that this is part of a grander program that you can get involved with if you have a business ABN registered in either Queensland, Northern Territory, or Western Australia. So you can Google Business Station and you can find out all about it. We'll talk a little bit more about it at the end. Let's get started. Today's topic is what is marketing? Now, I am doing this topic today because recently I went to a few marketing sort of conference days, and what really struck me was how many people, especially startups and small business, you've got this wonderful idea, you're getting started, and you still kind of, even though you're doing some marketing, you're not really 100% sure on what exactly this whole marketing beast is all about, and how do you do it, and what's involved, and have I missed a step or 12? I totally get it. I run my own businesses as well and market, and I even have a degree in marketing, and I still have to question some things I do as, did I plan this out and why did I do this? So without further ado, let's understand how to pitch value of your business from inside out and learn the basic fundamentals of marketing. So this is me, Rhonwyn Lerner. My last name really is Lerner, and I am a trainer by trade. Had a haircut since then. But at the moment, I spend most of my time as a digital advisor in the Digital Solutions Program through Business Station. Business Station runs the Digital Solutions Program across Queensland, Western Australia, and Northern Territory. So if you're in one of those states and you want to learn more, please let us know. My background is I am qualified in marketing and behavioral science. These are two areas that I absolutely adore, although I'm expanding my skill set at this point to some other different topics that I'm becoming very passionate about in a lot of the digital space. But for the most part, I've spent the last 15 years really focused on startups and small business. Now, I put those two kind of together in the sense that most startups, it's my job to turn you into a small business. And if you are a small business, it's my job to make sure that you went through the startup process A-okay, and you're operating, compliantly and doing a job, and you've really got the mechanics and the business management skills in place to run this business that you've got. Now, a lot of people obviously get started, probably like yourself. You've either inherited a business, you've bought a business, or you've come up with this wonderful idea, this gap in the market, this stellar $1 million makeover idea that you are going to have a go at. Now, in my opinion, if you're just getting started, my best advice for you is just stick with it, because at the end of the day, commitment is key. The people who do it for the long game and really are passionate about what they do and know that, like anything in life, there's going to be ups and downs, and you're willing to stick out the downs and make it back to the ups, you are going to make it through. Everything else can be learned. So marketing is one of those topics. And I do come from a background of marketing, but I also run my own businesses. And like I said, sometimes mechanics have the worst cars. Sometimes consultants don't take their own advice. Marketers don't do their social media and websites properly. And the list goes on and on. So my job today is really to help you understand the basic mechanics of marketing and get you through the concept of how it all pieces together. So what do you think of when I say, can you guess it, marketing? A lot of us, when I ask this question in classrooms, and because I've done classroom training for about 7 or 8 years now as well. When I ask this question in classrooms, the things that people mostly talk about is advertising. Advertising, as you might have guessed, is the one thing that most marketing businesses, support networks, professionals will push because there is money involved. So whenever there's money involved, there is an incentive for people to talk about it, promote it, support it, endorse it. But at the end of the day, there are lots of what we call bootstrapping and lean strategies you can do to help with marketing. And actually, when we talk about marketing today, I'm really going to get you on board with the idea that marketing is way more than advertising or promotions of any kind. There's a lot of lead up to marketing before you even get to the strategy stage of how you're going to get people in the door. Okay. So I want to go through that a bit with you today. For the most of the webinar today, in this learning session today, because I really want you to understand that it's not to understand if your marketing strategies are working. And when I say marketing strategies, I'm really talking about the communication side of marketing, the end point, the user interface, the customer facing side. To get to that point, first we have to look at the inner workings of our business, which is why we're really talking about marketing from the inside out. Okay. So what is marketing defined as? And I borrowed this from HubSpot, so attribution to HubSpot today, because I really liked their definition. It really mimics the words I wanted to use, which is marketing is the process of getting people interested in your company's product or service, or plural. This happens through market research, analysis, understanding your ideal customers' interests. So who is going to buy from you? And then the marketing pertains to all aspects of the business, including product development, distribution methods, sales, and advertising, right? Now, I love this definition because it really refers to the idea of marketing being this lovely thread that runs all the way from start to finish of your business, okay? If you are, helicopter going over, sound. If you don't start your marketing way at the back when you're doing product development and service development, what can happen? Yeah, I know you're shouting at me through the screen. What can happen is you can end up with a product that nobody wants. And that is the hardest thing to admit when you have a new business or a new product or a new service, which is why we come back to this section in the middle where it talks about market research. Every big business or organization that approaches their marketing in a professional way engages in a type of market research. So take the digital solutions program that I'm in. I've been tasked to come up with some topics to share as part of digital solutions. Now, most of the topics we're going to share are all to do with digital platforms. So there's going to be some other sessions I run on how to build a website or how to write blogs or, how to build an online course and things like that. But there's also this kind of, foundation learning we need before we get to that point, right? So how do you build an online course if you haven't really worked out who's going to do that course? So you probably have this rattling around in your head of how you're going to do that or who's going to buy it or who's going to do it. But quite often we look at it from a subjective point of view. So a subjective point of view is where we look at it from our own point of view. We think about our experiences, our knowledge, our observations, and we go, I think people need this. But the very assumptive, the underlying assumption is that you can see the perspective of that group of people, right? So when we make subjective assumptions, what we can end up doing is creating a product or service that is basically us coming out to the world and going, you should do this. That's what happens. And it comes out in the language we use, the way we promote it, the way we market it to the people we're trying to get in contact with or trying to attract. We can end up being a little bit of, that know-it-all at the party who's telling people how you're going to, don't do this and don't do that. That's how we can come across in our business and our business proposition and our marketing. But what we really want is to do some market research into what do those people actually want. You say they want a training program about how to do driver safety. Well, who's going to buy that? And buying is the key difference, okay? So when we're thinking about product and service development, our market research is really around who is going to put money on the table or through coin or through crypto or through FPOS or through PayPal or through Stripe or through whatever, however we're transacting, who's basically going to get out their wallet and lay money on the table and go, I'll take one, thank you. And I want that idea to sit with you just for a second. It's not about whether people like your product, like your service, or like your business. It's about who is going to take out their wallet, put money on the table, and say, please let me buy one. Okay? If you can get your head around that one concept in your marketing, it will change the whole outcome and perspective of how you promote, how you approach your marketing. Okay? Because at the end of the day, we are trying to run a business that promotes a certain product, service, or offering. But we don't want to be that person in the shopping center going, yeah, buy this, try this, buy this, buy this, buy this, push, 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 right? We want to be the person at the stool, waiting calmly, organizing ourselves, and people, with a sign next to us going, ask me about this. And people are like, oh my God, I've been looking for this for ages. Where have you been all my life, right? That's the person you want to be with your marketing. It's, kind of pulling them along, not pushing them into something. So there's different ways we can do market research. I believe that there's a few simple ways, but let's have a look. Let's just have a look at the internet for a minute. I'm going to get out of the slides. Yeah, so bear with me. I don't care much for slides. I do them, but it's like, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to pick and open the web page that I can share. Okay, here's a little research I was doing on some software for someone. All right, I'm into Google Chrome and google.com.au. Now, I'm using google.com.au as my browser because Google has a lot of websites indexed. It's a very comprehensive search engine, and people know it, people love it. It's, I think it's like 94, 96% of users use Google, and it helps us do a little bit of research. So there are different avenues in Google that you can use. So different types of research you can conduct on a product. You might look at competitors. You might look at other products on the market, or whatever it might be. Now, we don't have too many people in the session today, so I'm just going to wing it with a type of product. So say we're going to look at pet cafes. Why not? Anybody doing a pet cafe out there? Why not? Okay, so what happens when I type in pet cafe? We've got some Google searches that bring up a few that are around. Now, Google is very intuitive. It has very good algorithms. So it's going to show me businesses that are probably closest to me based on my IP address. So I'm not using a VPN, a virtual private network at the moment. So my IP is kind of like Google can recognize, around about where I am. Okay, something to be aware of. And Google also, the reason I love Google is because Google just collects so much information, to be honest. Like when it comes to a browser, and we did another webinar this morning just on, Google tools in the Google universe and what's exploring there. And one thing that we kind of discussed this morning is about Google is really this kind of teething problem they're going through at the moment, where they collect an awful lot of information. They store a lot of information, and they leverage off that information that you share with Google to really pitch you back to advertisers. So while I don't think Google Chrome and having a Google account open and active on your browser is great for, conducting business and doing your banking and things like that, and your emails and stuff, there is something to say for research. It's definitely good for research. So when you type in a business type, or you're going to come up with top Google rankings. So in your research, a type of top search you're going to come across is what we call search engine optimization and search engine marketing. So at the moment for Pet Cafe, I'm not getting any ads. So if I had an ad where someone had done a pay-per-click listing on Google, at the very, very top of my search, there would be a little bold text that says ad, AD, and then different websites that are trying to pitch to the Pet Cafe audience, okay? Now, it's probably not like, unless I said pet cafe near a suburb, it's probably, I'm not probably going to get too many hits on an ad for a pet cafe. Trying to scope out keywords on Google searching, because inevitably it's a very geographical based business, right? You're either near one or you're not. You're not going to virtualize going, there might be some virtual pet cafes and CryptoKitty and all sorts of weird things on the web, but I don't think that we meant too much here. So then we come to search engine optimization, right? So what my Google search tells me is these businesses either have really good domain names, petcafe.com.au, or they've got really good high value content according to Google that says, hey, here's a pet cafe, maybe this is the one you're looking for, or maybe this one, or maybe this one, right? Google tries to be helpful. I talk about Google as if they're a person. I'm gonna think of them. I think of Google like a hive mind, right? Lots of, hundreds of thousands of people working at Google across the globe. Their job in Google search, which is the main product of Google, what I'm in, the browser, not the browser, but the search engine, works very hard to show you the relevant content. So we're not going to talk about search engine optimization in this webinar. There's some other great workshops and webinars on the Digital Solutions program you can find through Eventbrite, or get in touch with your local advisor. So why am I doing this? I'm really looking at, what kind of competitors are out there for a little bit of research. So once I start looking at some of my competitors, I can look at what are the common things that pet cafes are offering, right? So it might be a pet cafe that is dog friendly. It might be a pet cafe that literally has pets, like a little kitty cat cafe where you go through to a locked, a secondary door, and there's literally cats wandering around licking your cheesecake while you enjoy your cappuccino. I own 2 cats, and I'm going to say that sounds like the most annoying thing in the world because I don't want them trying to eat my food while I'm trying to eat it. But I will say, owning cats, yes, I would happily take a cuddle from a kitty cat any day of the week. So, for people who don't own pets, a pet cafe is probably a brilliant idea. So I'm going to come back to this example later. Let's go back to the PowerPoint because I want to show you some more stuff. So how do we use marketing in small business? We'll go back to market research in a bit, don't worry, because there's other products and things I can show you. The size and nature of your business will absolutely affect your budget, your strategies, your tactics, your marketing plans, okay? If you are Coca-Cola, you have a certain big budget to work with. You have massive amount of existing purchase consumer data that you're using, and you can purchase other data. You have huge amounts of analytics or measures on the back of websites and social platforms and that to show you what consumers click on and what they're interested in, right? It's a whole different game, okay? And a lot of, I've taught marketing over the years, and any kind of pre-packaged course that someone has put in front of me about marketing is always about big business. It's about how do you do corporate-based marketing. But corporate marketing for larger or multinational organizations is completely different to what you would do in a small business. All right. At the end of the day, I say that phrase a lot. when you're doing marketing for your small business, you might have zero budget, right? You might have zero budget to work with, and you're trying to do marketing tactics. And then you look at Coca-Cola and I don't know, Netflix and I don't know, the mani-pedi or whatever product you see out in the world, insurance or whatever. And you go, so that's how you do marketing. Okay, so I just need a TV advertising, some social media banners. I need apparently someone else said I need to post every day, and I need a billboard in the middle of the city and then another one along the highway. You see where I'm going with this, right? Advertising, right? But advertising is just one part of marketing at the end user end. And for the most part, a lot of you are not going to use much actual paid advertising, right? Paid advertising comes in at very specific points in the marketing process. and it should be linked to an overall campaign. So we'll get to that in a little bit. So this is the main part of what we're going to look at today. Now, this is a very basic image. I borrowed this from Pinterest. Bless you, Pinterest. But this diagram, like, don't worry, I'm not stealing anybody's IP on this. This diagram has been done thousands and thousands and thousands of times over, because it is the core concept at the heart of marketing. It's called the marketing mix, okay? Now, each of these areas we can flesh out into a lot more detail. In fact, we could probably do a webinar on each one of these things, and there's another 3 categories beyond this minimum 4. So this is the minimum marketing mix, the core of you learning about marketing, okay? And this is where we're going from the inside out. Now, take that idea of a pet cafe. Now, usually it's easier to explain marketing from a product perspective, but I feel that actually a lot of us are doing services because, you know, a lot of products are bought, I don't know, on Amazon and eBay and overseas and all sorts of things, local market. And we, you know, a lot of us starting a small business, we often do services. We can have a mix. To be clear, when we use the word product, I am talking about products or services, okay? When we talk about marketing and this kind of thing, we really interchange product and service quite freely. Product just refers to something someone will buy. That's basically it, okay? So how do we start this journey? Now, when you started your business, I would hope we did a bit of a business plan, okay? If you didn't, there's going to be a workshop coming up during October, I think, or the end of October, where we're going to look at business planning, and you can do a follow along couple of hours and you get a basic business plan done, okay? Or at least figure it out how to do it. So you can join me for that if that interests you, okay? I would advise having a business plan for every kind of business. The thing with the key to business planning, good business planning and good marketing planning, is to not overdo it. Don't overthink it. Just keep it simple, right? If you run a small startup with you as the only worker and only owner and everything else, you don't need a 30-page business plan to follow, okay? And chances are you're just going to whack it on paper and then keep it in your head, follow it from your head. So the more, it is important to get into the details. And I would absolutely, working with startups for 15 years, I would absolutely advocate for doing a proper business plan that makes you do the detail, okay? Because when you do the detail in a proper business or marketing plan or any kind of business planning documents, really I'm talking about documents really, what it makes you do is it makes you get from your thoughts out of your head and down in front of you so that you can see exactly what is happening. Now, where this is critically important for actually laying plans on paper is when you're in a partnership. So if there is more than you in your business, I don't usually say this, but you have to do a plan, okay? Because the amount of times I've sat in front of partnerships that are absolutely disintegrating, and sometimes friendships and family relationships along with it, because you think you're on the same page, figuratively, and then you put it down and you're not, right? And you get so much conflict and arguments, and the plan's unclear, and people are doing different things, and they're working over each other, and it's a big old mess, right? So I will say, firm advice: if it's more than just you operating your business, put your plan on paper to make sure you are actually speaking the same language, all right, and got the same plans in your heads. Verbal just doesn't do it. So in this marketing mix, we're going to look at, from the business plan, you would have worked out a little bit of market research, I hope, to clear out any assumptions. So coming back to assumptions are where you have an idea, you've observed something and you go, I think this is what's happening. Problem with that is that's fine if you want to go change some way of doing the dishes or the laundry in your house, or how you feed your cat, or how you the route you take to pick up your kids from school or whatever, no problem. When you're talking about a business, you've got a lot more on the line, and you need more than assumption to get it over the line. Now, I have seen some businesses still go all right based on assumption because they were very intuitive. They knew their market inside out. They'd worked in it for many years. They were like, already, I know what this is, right? So their market research was really based on a very broad and deep knowledge of their market, and it gets them over the line. Okay, sometimes it's just blind luck. I won't lie. Sometimes people are very lucky that they are well prepared and they operate a very good quality service or product, and they're able to just build it naturally. For the most part, though, you're going to find that planning will be needed. Now, when we say the word market, let's just cover that. So market is basically everything involved in and around the kind of business you want to run. So say I'm a pet cafe, then the market is going to be my business plus every other business, every other cafe, pet producer, pet product sales. Almost had it. Could be pet breeding though. I guess that's pet production in a very, very cheeky sense. But the other side of that market is the customers. So we get the word market. We use market in a very kind of modern day marketplace kind of sense. But it does still stem from the very original type of market, which is we don't have digital, we don't have internet, we barely have trade routes, and you have a town that has a central market cross, or it's very different in different cultures, would have been. In my ancestry, it's a market cross in the middle of town. Everybody meets there pretty much at the same time or same place, same time sort of thing. And there's people offering things for sale, and there's people looking for things to buy. Okay, and it becomes a marketplace. All right. So we think about that more figuratively these days, that the marketplace that you operate in is all the businesses pretty much offering some sort of product or service that provides a solution to the problem where the buyers are coming in to solve. See if I can word that a little bit better. So think about, Tweedledee and Tweedledum walking towards each other. Tweedledee is every vendor you can think of that solves the one problem. And Tweedledum is every consumer you can think of looking to solve that problem. Okay. So when we look at our marketplace in our initial research that we would have done in our business plan, but we also do it in our marketing plan, we're looking at competitors, but we do need to make sure we keep our view of competitors quite broad. That what I describe them as direct and indirect competitors. That's the kind of the best way you can think about them. So a direct competitor for a pet cafe is another pet cafe. Done. Okay. If you do transport for disability services, your direct competitors are other transport for disability services, right? And this is where people start to Google their type of business that they want to launch, and they go, nobody's doing it. Okay. But we have to be smarter than that. So when we're doing our initial research for our marketplace and thinking about our competitors that are all on this side of the market, we also have to think of indirect competitors. Okay. So if I think of a pet cafe, indirect competitors are going to be a cafe that allows you to bring your dog or pet. Okay. Just regular cafes. Okay. I don't necessarily have to go to a pet cafe. I'd love to cuddle a cat while I drink my coffee and my latte. No problem. But if there's none in my area, I'm just going to go to a normal cafe, aren't I? Or if it's a pet cafe that tailors actually to, like a dog cafe that feeds dogs, so they have like dog cupcakes and dog treats and all that sort of thing, like that kind of pet cafe. Well, then I go, oh, there's no other dog cafes in my area. Yeah, but you know what? There's about 4 different pet stores that offer a range of gourmet and deluxe treats for dogs, which possibly are cheaper than what you can do in a cafe, and they can take it home in bulk, and they can even take them to the park, and the dog can enjoy them in the park instead of in a cafe. You get where I'm going with this, right? So a direct competitor is someone who does pretty much exactly what you do or what you provide to meet that problem that you're trying to solve. indirect competitors are pretty much every other product, service, or business that is indirectly servicing that problem with a solution. It just might not be the perfect solution, okay? But you are going to come across this kind of confronting scenario where you have the perfect solution. You have assumed people are dying to find it, and you take it to market and you go, actually, people are really hard to change habits. They're not adopting the new product that I'm offering in the market. In fact, they're pretty much telling me with their wallet, with their payment, with their purchase choices, we don't care to change our habits and our solution. The one we've got just now is doing just fine. Okay, so this is a very confronting scenario, and that's where reality we would look at the product or service you've developed and see how we can make some tweaks and changes, or we just need to we might come through to promotion side and think of a very clever way to educate our target market on, well, of course you need this. Don't worry about that. You need this one. This is what you need. Yeah. And there's all sorts of psychology around that. So when we look at our competitors, we can kind of then look at the product we're developing and look at the features that we've developed into our product or service. Okay. I'm just going to continue to use the word product if that's okay. Otherwise, it's already me talking for ages. All right. And then we look at, what is involved with that product. Okay. So you might come up with the same product, but it's got way more features. Or you might come up with a product, but, every other product is some sort of very cheaply made import. No offense, but, just very kind of whatever people can bring in for the cheapest quality possible to get really massive cushy margins. And you go, you know what? People don't want that. I'm going to come in with a really high quality product. So you see this with things like workwear and suits, technology devices. There'll always be a market that wants the cheap device. There's also always a market that respects the high quality device. Okay, and there is some matrix we can look at for cost versus quality and things like that. Not today. So. Also the branding of the product, like what does it look like? How are we packaging? How are we presenting this product to the world? And even if it's a service, the service is going to have a name given to it. It's going to have some guarantees. So a warranty usually goes with a physical product. And there are some laws to do with the Trade Practices Act and Australian Competition and Consumer Commission or Consumer Act to say what kind of warranty you have to provide for certain products. So for instance, electronic goods, you have to provide 12 months warranty given. But if you're buying a pair of shoes from Kmart, you're lucky if you get 3 months. And if it makes it past the 3 months, you got no recourse. Okay, so and a guarantee is more go with service. So a guarantee is a little bit different to a warranty. A warranty might say, hey, if you didn't misuse it, then we'll absolutely replace it if it breaks. Whereas a guarantee is something you can make a product, a service more attractive with by saying, you know what, try our program for 30 days. If you don't like it, we'll give you back your money. I knew one lady who did a copywriting course who gave a 12-month guarantee on her course. And after I saw her speak, I was absolutely busting to go up and talk to her because I was like, how can you offer a 12-month warranty on your course? Like, don't you get just massive amounts of people like trying it out for 6 weeks and going, no, can't be bothered, I want my money back? She said, you know what, the interesting thing is I get less complaints and less returns and less requests for refunds giving a 12-month warranty than I do for a 30-day warranty. And when we looked at the psychology of it, it really came down to when you've got a short amount of time, it becomes more of a focus at the forefront of your mind, and you're actively validating that product or service to see whether you want to activate the guarantee. When you've got such a large window, like 365 days, you relax. It almost becomes a risk-free product, and the person is more open to adapting themselves to really making a good go of that product or service, because you've got almost like this an additional layer of trust built in with that service provider. It's like, oh, they've given me 12 months. They must really trust their program. And I have this almost risk-free situation that, say it takes me 6 months to really give it a go and it doesn't work, I can still get my money back. Isn't that interesting? So the product we're looking at, so if we were looking at the pet cafe, all right, and let's just, let's just try out a pet cafe. You know, if I go and have a look at this pet cafe, I'm going to look at the website. I don't know what pet cafe this is. Congratulations, whoever it is, for the bit of a plug. I don't know, Ash Grove's near me. Oh, I hope this isn't going to be a problem now. Okay, so this is just a random business. I don't know this business. I don't even know where it is, really. I'm just coming in to check out what they've got to offer, right? So raw diets, fresh pet food options. Okay, so this is a pet cafe that serves actual pets. Now, for all I know, this could be a pet store that just has some fresh, like ready-made options. Okay, so they've got a bit of story, blah 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 blah. Now, when I'm thinking about packaging, I'm looking here for some products. Let's see, we've got a shop. Perfect. Let's go and have a look at the shop. No products. Oh, ouch. Okay, not a problem. Like we say, we're all working on our businesses. I'm going to try a different product. Let's just try, I think, what's a great product? What have I got around me? Let's try a phone. Phones are easy. I'm going to go with a, I have no preference for any particular phone. I'm just picking one, so please forgive me. Smartphone with camera. I spell better than I type. All right, smartphone with camera. Okay, so we've got quite a few businesses using Google Merchant to list it on their shopping option of Google, which is what this top bar is. Excuse me. Okay. I can look at some different products. Now, what I want to do, I'm just going to pick any of these phones. And what I'm looking for is like a feature stack. Excuse me. It's my third workshop today. Usually don't lose my voice, so we'll see how we go. All right, so we've got some features. The size of the display, what's the camera, expandable memory, battery, blah, blah, blah. I actually don't really care what the features are, but I'm just showing you that this is what I would compare. So as a competitor, I would absolutely compare features. As a product developer, I would compare features. As a marketer, I'm going to be looking for benefits. So when I'm looking to market this product, like this is very average marketing. It's just very descriptive, transactional kind of outlay here. You've got a warranty, et cetera, et cetera. When I'm looking to package my product and present it to the world, I really want to promote the features of the product. So what do I mean by that? So I've got a 5-inch display on a phone, which is obviously going to be a touch screen, I'm guessing. Can't see how it wouldn't be. You know, what is the benefit of having a 5-inch screen as opposed to 2 inches or 3 inches or 4 inches? And I don't want any jokes about size. So, you know, I might say, hey, a 5-inch is big enough to easily, you know, see everything on screen and make it really work. And I might do a video showing, hey, you can do some Canva videos and you can do a YouTube and blah, 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 blah. And I can do all the editing on my phone because the screen is a decent size. Likewise, if it was like say a 3.5 or 4-inch phone, I might say the benefit is it's absolutely going to fit in your pocket. It's not going to be sticking out or at risk of something grabbing it or, you know, taking up too much room in your bag or whatever. Yeah. So in every kind of feature you have with a product, and say the pet cafe, the feature is they sell gourmet dog food. The benefit is that, you know, an owner gets to show their dog absolutely that they love them through their stomach. I mean, what better way? You know, you just got to really, pitch it a little bit up. Sorry. I've lost my mouse. A second. There we go. All right. Bit of fiddling with Zoom, we're there. Okay, so after we've got the features, we've got some ideas of packaging, how it looks, is it appealing? Really what we're looking for is to get an overall functionality, image, and presentation of a product or service that is going to appeal to the needs of the audience we're trying to sell it to. Now, again, this is not people who like it, this is people who will buy it. The second thing is looking at price, okay? So in terms of choosing our marketing, price is absolutely in there, right? So if I want to be a budget product, am I going to have a very high price? No, the price must match. Now, we have a lot of challenges with this in Australia, with a lot of small businesses trying to provide good quality Australian-made products sourced locally and all the rest, which is great continuity in your supply chain and reduce fees and logistics and everything. But the reality is it probably costs a little bit more to make locally in Australia using Australian wages and Australian land holdings and everything like that than it does to source it from an overseas country with a currency conversion rate that's like 20 to 1, right? Big challenge. But Australians are coming more on board. It's only taken us about 20 years to get the message out. Apparently it took a pandemic, but we're getting there. That Australian made is still an awesome option. So pricing strategy, first we have to pick a price, which is a whole webinar, a workshop on its own. And I know my mate Kelby, I think, is going to cover that in a future topic. But the basics really is looking at that competitor, looking at that marketplace, sorry, competitors plural, marketplace, and go, to solve this problem in the marketplace of taking dogs to a cafe or, buying a phone or whatever it is, what are people charging? Not every business puts their prices on their website. Now, hallelujah for internet, where we can actually look at a lot of this research through Google and other search engines and websites and all the rest. But if you don't have that, so I'm confronted with that a lot of cybersecurity mix, cybersecurity firm, what do we do for pricing? What are people charging? The only way to really figure it out is to contact your competitors and say, hey, what are you charging? Now, do you approach them as saying, hi, I'm a competitor. Hi, I'm a competing business. Can you tell me all your pricing strategies? No, it doesn't really go down well. But the reality is, pricing inevitably is public knowledge, okay? Now, they can negotiate individual contacts with clients. So, for instance, if I set it up, one of my businesses, which is, business advisory and coaching and whatever, I might have a private agreement with a client at a budget point that suits them. But at the end of the day, it's not really going to vary much from my core pricing, right? Because what I'm doing is I'm coming up with a pricing model that reflects where I sit in the market for what I offer, the value, the quality, the features, all that stuff, how my product compares, then has to be a comparable sort of price point. But then I actually have to balance that with my costs to make that product. So if I provide an online program where I record it once and never look at it again, people buy it and they pay a couple of grand, I'm happy days, right? That is it's very market comparable price for what it is, the detailed, how many modules, how many lessons, how much detail, blah, blah, blah. So if I reduce that online course to say 3 lessons on a video, which someone caught me out with once, charged me like a couple $100. I was like, wow, that's super cheap, down from $2,000. It's only a couple $100. I'm going to check out this competitor. Bought the program. It was like 3 videos in a Google site with a couple of links. And I was like, dude, no wonder it's only a couple $100. And even that is quite expensive. You know what I mean? So price is really hard. Don't try and ask people what you should charge. It's never going to work. You'll always get a pretty consistent mix of people either saying too high or too low. Never one or the other. What I mean is, if you ask 10 people, half of them will say it's too high, half of them will say it's too low. Okay, so it's really about checking your marketplace, checking your costings, finding that beautiful balance between the two in your price model. and then taking it to market and giving it a try. Now, you could, if you want to do a test market, like just do one little promotion and see if people bite, go for it. There are different strategies around price. Like, for instance, if I was doing an online program and I was basically beta testing it, as in it's a first time run, I might tell people, hey, it's a first time run. I'm not going to charge you $2,200. I'm only going to charge you $500. Or I might have it an even more in multi-step model where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to charge you $1,000 for the program, but at the end of it, you're going to get $500 back if you do all the surveys and testimonials and that I asked you for, you know, good or bad, whatever feedback you got. And you know what, you can get the rest of the 500 back if you refer a couple of people for me, or if you actually get through to the end of the program, you know what I mean? So for example, if I'm testing on a program, I really need people to do it all the way through to the end, because there's no point in me having feedback on module 1 and module 2, except it might tell me that the program is boring. No one wants to finish it, which is feedback in itself. But you hear what I'm saying. So some people, when you're starting out and you're looking at the pricing, it's very tempting to underprice. If it builds your confidence, I dare say action is always better than thought in building confidence and getting your product to market. So if you really feel like, hey, I'm not confident to charge $500 an hour for my, you know, back to work consulting or whatever, I'm just going to charge $100 an hour and get a few people in and give it a go and build my confidence, credibility, and testimonials and that, do it. Don't even think about it. Just get it done, get it started. But as soon as you've done that, then you have to recalibrate your pricing to what suits. Now, place is the next bit in the mix. I'm sorry, we're just looking at the one slide, but there's kind of it. Place is where you sell it. So if we go back to the internet, there is my new pen. Okay. So if I want to buy a set of pair of Converse shoes, okay, where can I buy these? So place is basically how people access your product or service to buy it, okay? And this is part of the marketing mix because, for example, I had a wonderful florist years ago. I knew this lady was a florist, and she set up in a shopping center, massive foot traffic, a central location, great turnover. Shopping center was redeveloping, the terms weren't good. She moved to a place with less foot traffic, her business halved, right? So what it really demonstrated to her, and this happens in a lot of what we call brick and mortar or shopfront businesses, is if your product is, if you have a great portion of your consumers or your customers that say do impulse buying or, you know, happenstance buying or just like convenience shopping, as in I'll go to this florist because it is on my way somewhere. If you actually have a great portion of that as your income, then obviously when you move locations, you lose that section of your customer base, right? The only way you can build that up is if you do other types of promotion and things like that, which is very, very hard. So likewise, there are businesses that do flowers just online. So there's a couple research recently. We were looking at another florist business, and they were looking at doing just funeral flowers. And I was like, well, why would you do just funeral flowers? It's like, you know, what happens is quite often florists, and I hate to spread the word, but florists quite often what they'll do is they'll keep all their fresh flowers for, like, you know, wedding bouquets are kind of by order. Then you've got bouquets and daily bouquets, which use your freshest flowers because it might be a day or two before them to sell. And then with everything left over, it goes to funeral flowers because people basically see it for about an hour or two and then they're done. Yep. So it's kind of a, you know, it's kind of a food chain of flower creation. But what we found when we were looking at how do we sell this, you know, what place should we market this? We looked at some different pricing and place models. So one business we looked at was a florist that basically, from what I could guess from their website, their business model was basically buy or source a few limited varieties of flowers in great numbers. And they actually tried to do a subscription model where you pay like 15, 20 bucks a week. And once a week, you get a lovely bouquet or vase or setting or whatever delivered to your home or office of a certain size, of a certain caliber, of a certain whatever. But basically, it was kind of like potluck, right? It's like whatever they've got going for the week, you would just have fresh flowers delivered quite consistently every week, same time, same place. So in terms of place, looking at place, they were shopping online, and then delivering to your chosen address. Okay. So the transaction was taking place and purchasing decision was taking place online, but then they were accessing the physical product through delivery. Okay. So that comes into transport, and online allows you this lovely, inventory management on the back end, which you can do in a shop front as well, but you have more attrition. So attrition is where people nick off with a rose, basically, or it gets damaged or whatever from clients handling it. So you get a bit more of that in consumer access to product distribution. But you could also do multi-channel. So, for example, for my online courses, I might host it on my website using a plugin on a WordPress plugin like LearnDash or Moodle or something. Then I might use Systemi as another simpler version that also has like lots of marketing funnels and lead landing pages and that. Then I might go to marketplaces like group marketplaces. So I'm using my own website for complicated courses. I'm using a ready for you, simple web system that has an all-in-one marketing functions, kind of like Kajabi. And then I might hit the marketplaces like Thinkific, Mastermind, Coursera. I'm trying to think. There's heaps of them out there. To kind of list on a public marketplace a version of my course, so that I'm basically hitting as much of the market as possible. Now, the only difference is I'm really still thinking about my target market, so I wouldn't place it on a listing that, for example, if everybody going to that marketplace was pretty much looking for like, how to do dating or website creation or stuff that maybe wasn't related to what I taught, or I know science. So if it's all like science and arts and things like that, then I'd be like, well, I'm kind of an oddball here. It's not going to attract much attention because my genre is very different to this marketplace. So what happens then is I could try it. If it was free, I'd possibly try it, but really I'd be wasting my time. So if I'm listing a product on a marketplace where my audience is not really already engaging, you're pretty much trying to push the cart uphill, right? It's just no point. There's no point doing that. Same thing with products in place. Now, I want to talk about a very big place that you can market your products, which is the likes of Shopify and Amazon and Etsy. Okay, especially Amazon. Now, I hate to say it, Jeff Bezos just went to outer space with our profits. So they're clearly getting a profit from what we do. But at the same time, buyers' habits have changed. So if you want to sell those beautiful engraved wine glasses on your website, you're going to be spending a lot on marketing, promotion and communication, and possibly advertising. And don't forget, there's the cost of your time. So even if you don't spend dollars out of your bank account for marketing, you might still spend it in your time. So time spent doing promotion is valuable, well-used time. Time wasted doing promotion because you're doing ineffective strategies is not a good use of your time. And it's just about telling the differences, which comes back to our data collection. So whenever we do a marketing anything, right, we're going to test and reset. What I mean by that is, with your product, every once in a while, you're going to gather feedback on your product. Do they like the features? Do they like the quality? Do they like the branding? Is it packaged well? Et cetera, et cetera. Okay, get feedback. What needs to change? How can it improve? Even incremental, tiny little changes can actually make a large effect over time. So say you add another feature. So say I sell handbags, right? And up until now, all my handbags were reasonable size. But I'm like, you know what? There's so many women who want to carry around a 14, 15-inch laptop. My bags don't take that. So by putting in that additional feature into all my handbags, suddenly my sales go up 20%. Now that might not sound much. It's actually a lot. But selling 20% more product, if I sell $50,000 in handbags in 12 months, 3 months, I've now jumped to 62,500, which could be an extra 10 grand in my pocket in profit. That could be paying for a virtual assistant to do more marketing. It could be paying for literally paying for another staff member. If you do that across 10 different products and you're now earning another 50 grand a year, that's a whole wage. If it's like, you get where I'm going with this. So even small changes can help the overall profitability of your business. Now with price, it's the same thing. You can do, so what I've seen done very successfully is you might offer the same product or service in different places to different audiences for a different price. We call this A/B split test. An A/B split test really is about, I'm going to go to the same audience. Group A are going to see my first offer, which is my online course for $4.99. Section B of this audience is going to be shown, the same program, but for $1,099. And what the reason I would do this is because at the end of the day, pricing is a calculation. And if I'm testing the market to see where the pricing model sits, I might sell 50 programs at $500, which is what, 25,000? How's my math? But then I might sell 30 programs at 1,100, which comes out at $33,000. So even though I sold less of the program at the higher price, I still made more in sales and profit because the buffering, the margin is higher, and the overall revenue is higher, right? So we understand product. We're going to get some feedback from that. Price, we can try some different pricing, run it for a little bit, see how it goes. Place, we have to place our product where people are looking to buy it. Okay. Now, if you want to know about selling directly through Facebook and Instagram and social media and that, there are other webinars and workshops doing that. So please keep an eye out on the Business Station Eventbrite page. Now, promotion is the big one. So when we think about promotion, okay, we've got to think about who do we interact with through our business? Why do they engage with us? Okay. Because what it comes down to is different marketing tactics we're going to do. Okay. Now this is before I'd showed you that, I would wonder how many of those you could probably list. And even then, that is what I could list in about 10, 15 minutes at most, 5 minutes, whatever fast my little fingers can type. Okay. But the reality is there's literally hundreds of different marketing tactics you can do. Some are free, some are paid, some require outside assistance like a third party or an influencer or a database or another organization or a committee or an association, Okay. But before we get to promotion, we have to kind of work out what on earth we're doing. So through our 4 Ps, we're going to come up with an overall mix that fits together. Okay, so the marketing mix is mixed in together. It's the one product that you specified all the features and branding and packaging with the one resulting price point, which you might try out a little bit to get the best average. Through the main place that you're going to sell it. So whether that's a product directly thrown onto Amazon, so you can see millions of customers instead of the 20 that visit your website this week, literally. No offense, but it takes time to build attraction. And then we think about promotion. So the way you promote your product is how you communicate the rest to your audience, okay? So this is literally, if product is having the stall at the marketplace, price is what you charge relative to your cost and competitors. Place is the best spot in the market zone, right? So where the people, is it near the entrance to the market, the exit? Are they coming, in real terms? Are they coming in online through Amazon, through, partnerships? Where are they coming in from? And then promotion is like what we shout out to them. We get up on the soapbox, we spruik on the microphone and we go, hey, come grab your apples, box of apples for 36 cents. And then the guy at the other fruit stall is like, get your strawberries, 3, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a bit of I'm obviously talking figuratively, but, how we pitch the product has to relate to the other stuff, right? So this is how we're doing it inside out. So product, place, price is the core inside bits you have to work out before you start promoting. And then your promotion must reflect the other 3 P's, okay? Because if you go around telling people that you're the best price for the highest quality with the greatest customer service, and actually you're a budget product bought from overseas for a reasonable market price with people who don't give a damn because they, hardly anyone comes to the store and then they ignore them, your promotion is worth nothing, okay? So it all has to match up. So let's go back to different types of promotions. Now, this is kind of the exciting stuff of marketing, right? So there's different kinds of marketing tactics. And before you get to marketing tactics, you really have to work out the strategy. Now, what is the difference between a strategy and a tactic? A strategy is what I call the zigzag, okay? I always refer to strategy as the zigzag. It's I'm at point A, I'm trying to get over to point Z, and this is the path of most output and least resistance to get between here and there, okay? Sorry if my virtual background is playing with my hand movements. I'm very handy. So what I mean by that is, say I have 0 budget, but I've got 5 hours a week to do my marketing, okay? Quite a common scenario for startups and small business, an hour a day. I then have to choose a strategy based on what is the outcome I want to get. So for example, say I take the online course example. I might be like, you know what, for this quarter, I really want to focus on growing my double your profits program, whatever. I'm just using examples. I'm not trying to pitch anything. I'm going to do that program. And so then I'm going to work out maybe 2 or 3 strategies to build enrollments into that one program that I want to focus on, okay? Now, if you're a small business, I actually highly suggest, encourage that you focus on one product or service at a time for one type of audience through one type of promotional channel, with a single kind of campaign or offer, because that is highly manageable and has a lot of impact. You can put all your focus into it and make it work, okay? And you have to run, you can't run a promotion once, you can't run an ad once, you can't do an email out once. Once is a waste, okay? Say it with me, once is a waste. If you're going to do something once, don't even bother, because people barely blink and they missed it, okay? The real trick of marketing, and what marketing is coming up with a couple of strategies or a strategy to promote your flagship product or service that you want to focus on. You've already worked out what it looks like, how much you're charging, where you're going to sell it, and now you're just doing attraction, okay, which is communication side of marketing. And what we're really looking for is to get a message from us as the business, put it in front of them as the real buyers who are going to get out their wallet and pay for it, okay? And present it in an attractive way that entices them to take action, okay? That's marketing. So I don't want to get on my social media every day and talk about my product to death and have people turn off. And so I've got got 500 followers and none of them are liking anything I'm posting because they don't care. It's like, yep, we've seen it, Rhonwyn. Thanks very much. All right. So every different place or what we call a channel that you're going to communicate through, right? All these different marketing strategies and tactics, these are tactics, they require different levels of commitment, cost, attention, authenticity and messaging, right? We're kind of getting a little bit over time and I'm going to have to go to another meeting. But I do want to run through a few of these with you, okay? Because I'm sure this is the bit that you're all waiting for, which is, okay, what do I do? All right, so if you feel very settled on what your product is, what your price is, and who you're pitching it to and where they are going to be waiting for some messaging and promotion, then we look at money. Okay, so if you have no money, you're not going to be doing straight out advertising, okay? Advertising costs money, all right? Now, if you want to take the plunge to do a bit of advertising with the calculated risk that it's going to be covered by the sales you make, go for it, okay? That's the only time you do advertising if you've got very little money to spend. Otherwise, you're really going to be focused on some of the other areas. So grassroots is a category I put together, which is really around word of mouth. That's kind of it. So organic social media. So you might have social media profiles. You've got some either entertaining, inspiring, or informative posts that you've planned out, which are going to relate to the product or service you're trying to promote, or really is just going to it's going to appeal to that audience that you believe quite strongly is going to buy it. Okay. When I say related to your product, say you're doing candles, you're not going to post about candles every day. Okay. No. What you might post about is the kinds of essences and flowers and symbolism of flowers, healing properties of different oils and essences, meditation mantras for people who use candles, setting up a romantic, entry for, the classic Julia Roberts Pretty Woman, let's put some candles around or whatever. All the other reasons why people use candles, you're going to kind of show that to them through social media. What you're not going to do is show them pictures of your candles every day. Okay, that's a big no, because that will bore people to tears. So grassroots is really personified by the group, the collective, the following, the tribe. Okay, now you can do it through memberships. So if you have 0 following on social media, this is not going to be your go-to to get sales in your business today. Okay, social media is a long-term strategy. Okay, you need to build up reputation, credibility, exposure, engagement on social media. Okay, I don't know anybody, as much as some of these gurus say, I don't know anybody who grabs a social media profile and then within a month is making $10,000 in sales just from posting on social media, right? It's rubbish. If anybody wants to counter that, please email me, Rhonwyn@businessstation.com.au. If you can show me a case study or if you can show me data that you've done that, I will absolutely plug your business in future. I'll absolutely direct people to you and you can teach them how to do it. Because if someone's selling candles, they're not going to make $10,000 a month posting on social media for 30 days. It's just, maybe it happens once in 100,000 cases, but it's not reliable. Let's put it that way. Okay. So how do you get in front of an audience to get some social proof in that? You might join networking groups, membership groups, social media groups. You might start an affiliate program, which is in another category. Okay. There's lots of different ways that you can start kind of a grassroots campaign. Now, grassroots is kind of like the idea of you plant the seed and other people will help it grow. That's what it means for grassroots. So, for instance, if any of you were around the movie that was My Big Fat Greek Wedding, I don't know if you guys remember that movie, produced by Tom Hanks, about the woman who's Greek. Anyway, That movie was one of the highest grossing movies of the year, and it was done all through grassroots marketing. But they chose their timing well to release that movie, because at the time they released that movie, there were literally no other romantic comedies for release for like 2 or 3 months inside. So there was some benefit in that, but honestly, I think they spent super low on advertising, and it really was about the story behind it. So you can do this, and we have some other webinars and workshops around stories for your business. So telling your background story, the why of what you do, which is a very powerful message that people want to engage with, right? So we talk about business marketing these days. It's about being authentic. It's about being genuine. It's about being transparent, to a point. And it's about really matching your values and message and everything you do with what you sell. Okay, so other publicity, as publicity, we might look at genuinely traditional media releases. So you do a bit of a media kit that has an article, a newsworthy article that people are wanting to read, not just, hey, we've got the greatest candles in the world. Database marketing. So database marketing is like, you can purchase the database. It's not really kosher to do that. And there's definitely some laws around Spam Act that you have to be aware of. But you can approach it in a partnership, collaborative way. So if, for instance, if I am let me think. If I run a gift basket business, I might get in touch with another business to business, like a consultant or advisor. And I'll say, hey, you're an advisor for a heap of small businesses. It's coming up to Christmas. They're going to want to send gifts to some of their key clients. Would you please do a shout out for me to your email database with 2,000 contacts to promote my gift basket business? Now, there's arrangements to be done in place of that, but it is a kind of publicity where, same with influencers, where someone basically with an established audience offers to promote your product for some sort of mutual benefit. So, for example, it might be that, for them doing it, in return, you send a small gift basket to some of their key clients. Or it could be that you can share, you might give out a voucher for their consulting services with every gift basket that goes to a business client, right? There's lots of different mutual benefit arrangements you can make in collaboration. But publicity, news articles, blogs, podcasts, newsletters, of course, which could be email newsletters. Publicity really turns on the audience size. So if you're appealing to a small audience, you're going to get probably a little bit of a small return, but over time, excuse me. And then promotion. So when we look at our 4 Ps, promotion is the last one, which traditionally is about coming up with some sort of campaign. That's really what we mean by our promotion. So, car yards sell end of year stock for the end of financial year. So end of financial year, Christmas, Mother's Day, these are the time where we see targeted promotional campaigns that are for a particular audience, for a particular type of product or service, at a particular, for a particular theme, to drive more customers into the business. Okay. So we have our business plan. We map out the 4 Ps of our marketing in a general sense. We come into our marketing plan, and we're going to flesh out exactly what these 4 Ps mean, especially the product, place, and price, that then should match up with the kind of promotion we want to do to attract more customers. Now, don't forget that when we're attracting customers in promotion, we also don't forget about our previous customers. So don't forget that when we are growing our business, past clients and customers are just as important, if not more important, to attracting new ones, because the cost of attracting new ones is quite high. All this, promotion and advertising and offers and publicity and time spent and following up and blah, 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 trust takes time. So every customer you communicate with who could be a potential customer. They're kind of a lead, a warm lead, a prospect, whatever you go through that kind of funnel, which is a different webinar. Taking them through that journey, it's a hell of a lot of time, and you got to build a lot of trust. You got to do a lot of promotion. Think about that compared to someone who's already committed to making a purchase from you. It can be one email or conversation to say, hey, I noticed you downloaded our $7 ebook. Can I entice you to come to this 2-hour workshop on, how to insure your business for cybercrime? It's $45. Would you like to come along? Yep. So and they've already know that you've got some good quality value to provide. There's already a trust and familiarity built up, and they'll go for it. So with your marketing strategy, so this is marketing, all right? Marketing is inside out. It's what you're selling, why you're selling it, and how you're going to get the message out to people. If you jump straight to this idea of what promotion you're going to do, you're going to miss the guts of it, okay? So if you take away one thing from today, make sure you think about your marketing in a whole, well-rounded, end-to-end process, not just how you're going to tell people about it, okay? That's the very, very last step. Now, if you've enjoyed today's webinar, my name is Rhonwyn for Digital Solutions as part of Business Station. The Digital Solutions program covers 5 main categories, actually. For digital skills, the program is $44 and it's 7 hours of delivery. So that includes not 1, not 2, but 3 one-to-one sessions with absolute high-end advisors who are reimbursed by the federal government to help you become more digital in your business, okay? So if you're not already on board with the Digital Solutions program, please consider if there are other skills you want to develop and if someone can help you with some one-to-one. Far and away, one-to-one, if nothing else, will help you absolutely get your direction back, and this is what you need to do, okay? We cover topics on social media, digital marketing, websites and selling, online security, business software, but also it covers general skills. So if you're struggling to attract customers, to retain customers, do your HR, anything to do with compliance, workplace health and safety, whatever, please get in touch because that's included as well. We have amazing troop of advisors across WA, Queensland, and the Northern Territory. Business Station is responsible for delivering the federal government digital solutions program across these 3 states. So to join the program, you need to have an ABN registered in either WA, Queensland, or Northern Territory. You need to be running a small for-profit business and be hiring less than 20 full-time staff members or equivalent staff members, okay? And if you feel that you fit into that category and you want to have a little bit of help, please go to www.businessstation.link/register, or you can just Google Business Station, and on the homepage, you'll see the $44 link to Digital Solutions where you can register yourself. And generally speaking, if you want to put my name, Rhonwyn Lerner, in the advisor, so you get to choose an advisor. If you want to put my name, that is totally fine. If there is someone else on there, you go onto the Business Station website and you find another advisor that you would like to help you with that, then go for it. I don't mind. But at the end of the day, this is me. So if you just want to make sure that you get who you want, if it comes through and I think, oh, actually, I think you do really well with someone else, I'll put you with someone else. It's totally fine. But otherwise, the first hour would be with me, and then we'll map out the rest of the 7 hours to get the most learning and really be goal and outcome orientated for this program. That's really the main thing that we want to take note of. And that's it for today. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining me for what is marketing today. If you loved this webinar, please make sure to share it with people you know and encourage them to check out the Digital Solutions program. So you can Google Business Station or Digital Solutions or my name, which is a lot hard to spell, or just send me an email and I'll try and help you out. Okay, thanks very much and have a wonderful day and good luck with your small business.